direction. I think a lot of people saw this coming. They changed general managers about a month ago, getting rid of Dave Caldwell, and now this morning they've parted ways with Doug Marrone, a man who a couple of years ago got this team to the AFC Championship game. Jacksonville is probably the most desirable job out there at this point in time. They have the #1 overall pick. They have over $100 million in cap space. They've got 11 total picks. This becomes the #1 job out there, with all due respect to all the others, because it offers so much. But Jacksonville this morning moved in a different direction. The Jaguars now join the New York Jets, the Detroit Lions, Atlanta Falcons, and Houston Texans as teams with head coach openings this morning.
Okay, so I have a variety of follow-up questions for you. Let's start with where else you are keeping a close eye on today.
Well, let me say this, Green. Just moments ago, the Bengals announced that Zach Taylor will return for this season. I don't think that's a surprise to a lot of people, but again, the Bengals struggled for a second straight year. They have Joe Burrow coming off the ACL injury, and Zach Taylor will return as the Bengals head coach, which came from Mike Brown this morning. Watching the Los Angeles Chargers, Anthony Lynn won his last 4 games, has had over 100 starts missed due to injury. But a lot of people wondering what's going to happen there in Los Angeles with a man who a couple of years ago was a finalist for the NFL Coach of the Year and now is obviously on a hot seat. That would be the one other spot from a head coaching perspective to watch today. That would bring it to 6 total openings in all, which is a little bit under the annual average for the NFL on a yearly basis.
Yeah, and there's frequently a surprise, one that we didn't see coming. So we'll see if we wind up getting that this year. And then let me go back to your previous thought about Jacksonville. Is it too soon to be thinking about candidates for the openings, in particular the one you just described, and I think rightfully so, as the one so many people will be drawn to because of the Trevor Lawrence and all the cap space?
Well, the first name that'll come up, of course, will be Urban Meyer, because essentially he has been pondering the idea of returning, or at least making a move to the NFL. And so people know that he's coached in Florida. And I think that that's something that he's been sifting through in recent weeks, trying to decide whether or not to make the jump to the NFL level. And we'll see whether he does or doesn't. But that is a big decision. If he decides to go to the NFL, and he's clearly thinking about that over the last couple of weeks, that would be a candidate for the Jacksonville job. Already interviewed some general manager candidates at this point in time. I think they've interviewed Rick Smith, the former Texas GM, Jerry Reese. I think Louis Riddick has spoken to them. So there have been a number of people involved for the general manager job. But again, this is the most desirable job out there because of the #1 pick, because of all the picks, because of all the cap space, because of the market it's in. So we'll see what Jacksonville decides to do. But Doug Marrone and Dave Caldwell, the former tandem that got this team to the AFC Championship, is no longer.
All right, Schefter, outstanding as always, and we will stay very close to you and your ever-present phone, and we'll see what... Good morning. It is time to get up with Sunday Night Controversy. What did the Eagles do? Why did they do it? And why is everyone calling them a disgrace? Then, hello, Cleveland. A generation later, the Browns are back. Just how far can this team take this run? And then, the road to the Super Bowl. We'll go through the frozen tundra. Is this the team to beat? And did the QB lock up the MVP? We'll answer all those questions as we get up with you, starting right now on a Monday from the Seaport. Delighted to be back and to have you with us. Rex Ryan is here. We're ready to go, big fella, and we're not alone. Dan Orlovsky is here. Ryan Clark is here. The NFL season is officially over, and the fun is just beginning. And it ended, I was about to say with a bang. Candidly, I'm not sure how to describe how it ended. Let's take a look at it. Washington football team clinches the NFC East with a win, taking on the Eagles. Second quarter, Eagles are down 10-0. But Dan, Jalen Hurts is getting things done with his legs.
It's an outstanding job of realizing, okay, the RPO is covered. It's in man. No one's got me. Let me use my speed to get to that front pylon. Touchdown, Philly.
Under 5 minutes to go, it's still 10-7, third down, and it's Hurts. Again, look at this one. Thrilling one for Arcega-Whiteside.
You love to see him climb that pocket and then find that receiver, give him a big physical ball to go catch.
And then the very next play, once again using his legs, he's the first Eagles quarterback with 2 rushing touchdowns in a game since Michael Vick. They're up 14-10. Oh, he's playing well. You got to keep him in the game. Meanwhile, Alex Smith, he's looking up top.
It's a great job of Alex Smith realizing that trailing backside linebacker. He's got his back turned to me. Give Logan Thomas a high ball for a touchdown.
Now we're 5 minutes left in the third. It's 1st and 10 It's Alex Smith, and this ball is going to get ripped away from J.D. McKissick, and the Eagles are in business.
It's a great play by Michael Epps to get that pick, and then you see Jalen Hurts hanging, trying to find somebody. That ball is going to get thrown away, and all of a sudden it's decision-making time for the Philadelphia Eagles.
The decision they make is to go for it on fourth down. Rex, do you like that decision?
No, of course not. I hate that decision. Another one, chalk another one up for analytics.
Field goal would have tied it, but then is when it really gets interesting. Fourth quarter in a 3-point game, Jalen Hurts is on the bench, and Nate Sudfeld is in the game and throwing arm punts. This one is picked off by Jeremy Reeves. Washington takes over. Smith would get intercepted, and then we have more of this nonsense from the Eagles on a second down. Now they can't even handle the snap. The Washington football team controls the football, the fumble. The Washington football team wins the division. The Philadelphia Eagles lose the respect of everyone. Doug Peterson, what?
That was my decision solely. Nate has obviously been here for 4 years, and I felt that he deserved an opportunity to get some snaps. And listen, if there's anything out there that thinks that I was not trying to win the game, I mean, Ertz is out there, Brandon Graham's out there, Darius Slay's out there. All our top guys are still on the field at the end.
Well, say for one. Anyway, Chris Mortensen tweeted this. This is the most negative barrage of comments I have received about a game's lack of integrity, and that's not even counting Giants-related bias. Consensus from those in the NFL and those who've been associated with it, disgrace. That's not the fault of the Washington football team. All right, let's talk about it, because frankly, it is about as interesting a way for an NFL season to end as I can remember in a very long time. What word would you use to sum up that decision?
Strange. When I see it right there, at first I'm like, did something happen to Jalen Hurts? And then when, I still never knew. But you don't, look, Peterson's a good football coach, but that's a horrible moment for him. And quite honestly, I questioned going into the game the commitment of the Philadelphia Eagles, of being a true pro, lining up and play. And when I saw that injury report and the guys who weren't playing, I was shocked on how many guys, he mentioned some guys that were playing, but there was a whole list of guys that weren't. And then making this move, absolutely awful.
Ryan Clark, what do you think?
You know what I thought in 256 games, right, that the NFL fought through a pandemic to bring you, even one of those games, starting a practice squad receiver at quarterback, this was the most disgraceful. This was the one they should have allowed to be canceled, to be postponed. This is the one that protocol should have taken over because of the way it finished. Doug Peterson is talking about, we tried to win. They still had Brandon Graham. We had Darius Slay on the field. Well, I saw Deshaun Watson play to the very end, and he's one of the best players, one of the best quarterbacks in this league, because his coach and their quarterback was trying to win the football.